President Biden is scheduled to speak before lawmakers at the Capitol this evening. But Americans got their own ideas of the state of our union. Tony Dokoupil is on Capitol Hill with that part of the story. Tony, nice job with the speaker the last half hour because, number one, politicians are often hard to interview, but you guys covered a lot of ground. But what we really like about you, Tony Dokoupil, there are so many things, but you're man on the street. You got another one coming up. Can't wait.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm a man of the people. Don't be fooled by the suit and tie this morning. That's all because of the event going on behind me tonight. The State of the Union address, it began with a constitutional requirement. People can read that section for themselves. Article 2, Section 3, the president shall from time to time give Congress information on the state of the union. But that has evolved into what one writer called a kind of political Super Bowl. And much like the actual Super Bowl, millions will tune in tonight, and they are going to have their own thoughts. Some people are going to be shouting at the TV. We hit the streets of New York for some advanced commentary.
Mr. Speaker, the President of the United States.
When President Biden steps onto the House floor tonight, one thing is almost certain.
Hello.
He'll say something like,
The State of the Union is strong.
just as every single president has done for decades.
The state of our union is strong.
The state of our union is strong.
But strong is not the word most Americans have in mind these days.
The state of our union is what?
In danger.
In fact, outside the scaffolding surrounding the old Federal Building in Lower Manhattan, where George Washington delivered the very first State of the Union, we didn't find anyone who felt like America today is thriving.
The State of the Union is a catastrophe.
Broken.
Chaotic, disorganized.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Can I ask you a couple questions about the state of our union?
Well, not everyone wanted to talk to a reporter.
Let me ask you 2 questions. No. All right. That was one of the questions.
Everything lined up perfectly with this CBS News poll, which found only about a third of Americans think things are going well. And even then, most would only say somewhat well. So what happened?
It is a scary time right now, with a lot of war going on in the world.
The corporate rule of America and the division of the people.
People feel on opposite ends of the spectrums. People aren't talking to each other. That's a real problem.
I feel like we're more divided than ever.
Divided is how most describe the state of the country in that very same poll, with declining and weak also coming in well ahead of strong. And with the president's approval rating near an all-time low.
Raise your hand if you approve of the job that Joe Biden is doing. Whoa, really?
He gets a lot of the blame.
I don't agree with any of his policies, so.
But not all of it.
I think he's doing a terrific job with the economy. I like Joe Biden. I really do. But then, at the same time, it's just too much going on.
Do you approve of Congress's job performance?
No.
Turns out the lawmakers he'll be addressing have approval ratings even lower.
How about Congress?
Oh, please.
They're working against each other, and I don't see no policies coming into action.
If you were to deliver the State of the Union address, what would you say to the American people?
We need all these bozos out of here and get people that's going to come together and get it done.
You would stand before Congress and say, get the bozos out.
Yeah, I would.
Either way,
But there's so much more to do.
when President Biden lays out his list of priorities, Americans will be checking it against their own.
I'd like to see him really get control of the border, fully fund the war in Israel, fully fund Ukraine.
Looking to improve the quality of our cities, bring inflation down, do something about the housing market.
I would like a really strong comment from him about what's going on with women's rights, because I think it's very, very concerning.
But even amid all the concern, the strength of our union has one constant. The fact that, much like Federal Hall and the repair work happening there, America is always subject to improvement.
What do you think it's going to take to get us to a place where we're actually strong?
Compromise.
I don't think Joe Biden or anyone's going to, be able to fix this with, their presence in office. I think it's going to take all of us, actually.
I like what the man said there, Tony, the C word, compromise. Most people don't even know what that means in Washington anymore. And I love what the woman said to you. There's just too much going on and nothing seems to be working. A lot of people feel that way.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of people feel that way. Compromise is what I hear from voters all the time. They want action and they want compromise. Sometimes those things are in conflict. We'll see a lack of compromise really on display tonight because one of the things everyone's going to be watching for is the applause breaks. Who stands up when they stand up, and what tends to happen is all the Democrats stand up over and over and over again, and the Republicans, they just sit on their hands, and that shows you the lack of interest in shaking hands and coming together right there on your screen.
Well, I also felt, Tony, in talking to those folks, that you didn't hear party. You didn't hear the other side is my enemy. The person who doesn't hold the same positions as me is somebody that I want kicked out of the country. Everybody sort of had the same point. Things need to be fixed, and they need to do it, and we need to do it together.
Yeah, one word of advice for folks at home who are going to be watching tonight when it comes to applause breaks. Sometimes people like to make little drinking games out of every standing ovation. I don't advise it. In recent State of the Union addresses, there have been about 80 applause breaks. If you have work in the morning, you don't want to play that game.
Well, Speaker Johnson called on decorum tonight. We'll see how that goes. Was it hard to get people to talk to you?
No, Gayle. You will not be surprised to learn that Americans have opinions and they don't mind sharing them.
Okay, good.
The glimmer of hope is that as voters, we control our destiny.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
And members of Congress should start listening to those voters that Tony was speaking.
Well done, Tony, once again.
Awesome as always. Thank you, my friend. We'll talk to you a little bit later. CBS News will bring you live coverage of tonight's State of the Union address and the Republican response. We'll start at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS News streaming and continues with a special report right here on CBS at 9 p.m. Eastern.